Welcome everybody back on the mat. My name is Renelle B, your yoga instructor today, and we're going to get started in a wide-legged child's pose today. So you can come down starting on all fours in your tabletop position. From here you're going to separate your knees as wide as your mat, drawing the toes together, and just slowly start to send the hips back towards the heels, reach the arms forward and rest your forehead down on the mat. If your forehead doesn't comfortably come down, you can stack your hands one on top of the other, resting your elbows out wide, and just let your forehead come down on the hands, drawing a bit more height for you to reach the ground. And then wherever you're at in this pose, slowly start to let go of your day and land on the mat. Shut down the eyes, starting to tune inwards into the body. Start to notice how you're feeling emotionally, physically, mentally, taking a note of where we're at in our bodies. And together we're going to start to set ourselves up for our yoga practice today by becoming a bit more aware of our breath, starting with the natural rhythm of our breath. Just noticing how you're breathing, how long the breath is in the body, if you're breathing in the belly or chest area. And just follow your natural breath for a few moments here. And together we're going to start to deepen our breath and actually start to utilize our breath as a tool throughout our yoga practice to help soften our bodies, soften our mind, and relax ourselves deeper in each position that we explore on the mat today. And so on the next inhale, you're going to breathe through the nose, and you're going to start to expand your belly down towards the mat. And I'd like you to envision as though a balloon, and you were blowing up a balloon in your belly. And allow that breath to expand and open your belly nice and wide, moving the breath now up the rib cage and then towards the collarbone. And feel your breath as it travels up. And then slowly hold the breath at the top and then exhale through the nostrils once again. Soften the chest down first and then slowly release the air from the belly as you draw your belly button closer towards the spine. Hold at the end of the exhale before inhaling through the nose once again, expanding the belly down, and then allowing the breath to move up the rib cage towards the collarbone. Hold the top of the breath before exhaling down. Allow the breath to move down the rib cage towards the belly. And continue with this deep belly breath on your own, seeing if you can maybe lengthen your breath even more, counting upwards to 5 or 7 counts on the inhale, and matching that breath on the exhale. And as you breathe deeply here, start to scan your body from head to toe and just notice where you're maybe holding tension in the body. And see if you can slowly start to release that tension out of the body, softening through the hips and outer thighs, relaxing through the low back. Soften your jaw, soften your forehead and the eyes. Allow your arms to get heavy in the mat. Soften the elbows down. Soften the legs, the feet, and the ankles. And as we work throughout our yin practice today, we're going to be holding some postures a bit longer than normal classes. And this is really to intend us to really let go and give in to each posture that we explore together on the mat. And so your job is really just to soften down, to release tension in each area, and to train your mind to resist urges to move or fidget around or to control any aspects that are happening, and just become very passive in each pose, being okay with just being. And so that's our intention for today as we practice our yin yoga class together. And now that you have our group intention, you can also take the time now to set your own intention for your practice today. So I always encourage you to draw a sentimental intention for your practice, whether you want to dedicate your practice to someone and maybe send them love throughout your practice, or maybe you want to start integrating specific emotions and intentions throughout your life, and you can bring those intentions on the mat as well. So if you're working on creating more abundance, maybe finding gratitude and those emotions throughout our practice today. And so you can set that now, and we'll take 2 more long deep breaths here together on the mat. And then when you're ready, slowly make your way up into your tabletop position and just move through a few cat-cows. On the inhale, you're going to push your belly and chest through the arms, gaze up towards the sky. Exhale, round through the spine, look in towards your belly button and tuck your tailbone. Keep going and moving like this with your own breath. Take 2 more cat-cows, maybe shutting down the eyes as you do so. And on your last exhale, we're going to set up into our down dog. So curl the toes, send the hips up and back. Relax the head and neck. And allow yourself to settle into your down dog here. Maybe pedaling out the feet, shifting the hips side to side. And doing whatever feels good in the body. And then take 2 more long deep breaths here, maybe bending the knees even more, sending the hips higher as you draw your belly button towards the upper thigh. And then on your final breath, slowly release the knees back down, coming into your tabletop position once again. From here, we're going to settle into our cow face pose. And so you're going to cross your right knee behind the left, separate your feet and ankles nice and wide. I'm just going to turn to the long edge of my mat so you can see. And then slowly start to sit back towards the back of your mat. And from here, you'll want to move the skin away from your sits bones so you can sit nice and tall. If you feel any pinching in this pose, I'd recommend either sitting on a block or a few books stacked one on top of the other, just to help elevate the hips and decompress that tension that you might be feeling. Otherwise, if it's a little bit too intense, the other option for you is to come into a reclined figure 4 position. So you'll come down on your back and cross your left ankle over the right knee and draw your right knee in towards your chest. And then from this position, slowly start to lengthen through the crown of the head. And shut down the eyes here. If you'd like, you can start to walk the hands forward, maybe folding over your legs slightly. You want to make sure that your low back is still staying nice and flat and lengthened. And then you can round through the upper back so you can relax the head and neck if you feel like doing so. And as we settle into our first pose of the day, start to draw more awareness internally and just notice how this feels in the body for you. Notice where you're holding tension in this pose, scanning your body from head to toe, becoming aware of what your body is doing here. Notice any sensations in the body. Notice how you're breathing. Has your breathing changed from that long, deep belly breath? And if it has, maybe catch yourself and draw your awareness back to breathing that nice, long, deep belly breath. And we're going to use a bit of visualization here. So I'd like you to bring your mind's eye to the areas of the body that feel the most tense in this position. So this tends to be the hip area. And wherever you're holding tension here in this pose, draw your mind's eye there. And on your next deep belly breath, inhale, I'd like you to envision an opening happening in that area. So whatever that looks like to you, maybe you want to envision this area opening up like a rose or a flower, or maybe it's just an energetic opening that you feel. And as you exhale, allow whatever tension to melt off of the body. Envision that softening happening, maybe a melting down into the mat, getting heavier and heavier as you ground down through the sits bones. And then once again, inhaling, creating that space in the area, using your visualization to amplify the sensations that you're invoking in this space. And as you exhale, softening, deepening, grounding, relaxing deeper into the pose, allowing all the tension to just melt away. And so continue with this opening and deepening with the synchronization of your breath. And see if this helps you in any way to soften the body. And as you rest in this pose, see if you can try to resist any urges to move or fidget around or look around in your space, or move your awareness off of what we're working on now. And try to see if you can start strengthening your mind to focus on one thing. If you also have mosquitoes in your space, though, I completely understand if you need to swat them away. take about 5 more long, deep breaths here in this pose. Maybe you want to start deepening into it a little bit more. Shifting your chest forward over the legs a bit more if you haven't already. And slowly start to soften this area once again by using your mind's eye as the tool, as well as the breath, to help you deepen into this posture. At the end of your last breath, slowly make your way back to center with the chest if you've been leaning forward. And to get out of this pose, we're going to bring our hands on the right side of our mat, framing our left foot. And you're going to keep your feet exactly where they are. You're just going to pick up the hips and start to shift all the way around your mat. And you'll notice that your knees actually fold over on the other side, and then you'll just sit back. And coming into your cow face pose on the other side. And once again, allow your sits bones to ground down firmly into the mat by moving the skin away from the sits bones. Sitting nice and tall once again, reaching the crown of the head nice and high. And using any blocks or supports that you may need to make this comfortable for you. And again, coming into that reclined figure 4 position if you need a modification pose. And if you're coming down into the figure 4 on the other side, you're going to be crossing your right knee over the left ankle and drawing the left knee in towards your chest. And so start to lengthen from the crown of the head. Getting nice and tall here, tuning into your body once more, noticing how this position feels in your body, and maybe it feels different on one side over the next, and that's just something to be aware of. Maybe you're holding more tension on the right side body or the left side body, and these are just mental notes for yourself, just to be more aware of how your body feels and maybe what needs to be worked on or adjusted in your body, in your space. And as you tune your mind's eye to the same position of the body that's feeling tension in this pose, start to draw more awareness to your breath in this space. And working on that same exercise that we just created. So on the inhale, still working with that deep belly breath, invite that space and that opening in the areas that are holding tension. Allow an opening to happen in the tight areas of the body. And as you exhale, release all of that tension down. You can visualize melting of those areas into the mat. Maybe it's a sensation of grounding that's happening in the body, getting heavier into the body. And continue with this framework, drawing all of your awareness to this space, to this internal space. Seeing if you can resist the urges to move or fidget around. And just becoming one with your space and with your breath. Deepening your awareness and connection with your own body. And as we practice our yin yoga, we actually do deepen our awareness and connection with the body. As we slow down, we do so. So anytime that you come into meditation, anytime that you slow down in life, you're actually deepening that present awareness, the I am. You're becoming aware of the I am presence that resides inside each and every one of us. We become the eye of the storm in a sense when we slow down and we notice the patterns of our minds, the patterns of our emotional body, and maybe the patterns that these create in our life. And the slower that we move, the more likely we actually catch these things. And the more easily we can facilitate change in our lives, because we actually know where the change needs to happen. We know what the issue or mindset is that needs to be altered. And we know what emotions we want to draw into our lives. And so maybe at this point you'd like to settle in deeper into your pose, maybe walking the hands forward and resting your belly closer towards the thighs. We'll be here for 5 more long, deep breaths. Maybe start to deepen your breath a little bit more than it already is. Softening the body more and more. At the end of your last breath, slowly make your way back up to center, lengthening the spine once again. And this time we're actually just going to grab hold of our right leg and move it off to the side, separating your feet nice and wide. Same with the left. Bring your hands behind you, and together we're just going to windshield wiper the knees side to side, moving in one direction, holding it there, allowing the blood to flow back into the space, and then slowly shifting over to the other side. And then maybe slowly incorporating a bit more speed into the movement. And slowly make your way back up to sit. This time we're going to draw the soles of the feet together, and we're going to open our knees out nice and wide. So depending what you are wanting to work on in your body, the wider your stance with the feet, the more of a stretch you'll feel in the glutes. The closer the feet are towards your groin area, the more you'll start to feel this in the inner thighs. And so based on your body and where you're holding tension at this time, just make whatever adjustment you need for yourself. And lengthen once again the crown of the head to lengthen the spine. And then walk your hands forward, drawing your chest closer towards the legs. And then allow your head to just rest, folding over the legs. And allow this to be a really passive pose. So allow yourself to melt down. You can round through the spine, that's fine. If you have a block or any support, you can place that under the chest, just to help bring a little bit more comfort in this pose. And whatever tools that you have accessible to yourself to really give you the opportunity to soften and relax and to feel nurtured in your body. If you'd like, another alternative is to place your hands under the legs as well. And you can just allow the weight of the hands to draw your chest closer towards the legs. And shutting down the eyes once again. Becoming aware of the tension you may be feeling in your body. And using your breath as a tool to soften the body, soften the mind. And in this position, you can start to incorporate a little bit more of your intention that you set at the beginning of class. So whatever that intention was, what emotions captivate that intention? As I mentioned earlier, maybe you're trying to create more abundance in your life, and so you want to maybe be drawing more abundant sensations. And maybe you want to think of the things that you're wanting to draw to you, and you can envision yourself as though you already have whatever it is that you're trying to manifest in your life. And so good questions to ask yourself is something like, what would I feel like if I would attain this manifestation? Or what emotions would this bring into my life? And as you think of this, start to cultivate those emotions now in your body, and start to maybe even think of things that have happened to you throughout your life where you felt like this before, like an emotion that you felt like this before. And start to invoke those energies in your body. And really allowing yourself to step into this manifestation as though it already is here. It's already here and you're already it. And the more that we practice manifestation in such a way, the more we start to believe that everything that we could ever imagine for our lives lies right inside of us. And it always starts with you and your internal process and your ability to create those things in your space now. So working with emotions is a really great space to start, and working with energy. And so maybe you'd like to think of this as we rest in our space. And you can start to deepen into this position if you'd like at this point. Maybe walking your hands a bit closer or further away from you, drawing your chest closer to the legs. we're here for 5 more long, deep breaths. If you'd like to deepen into the stretch a little bit more at this time, you're welcome to do so. And at the end of your last breath, slowly make your way back up to neutral spine, reaching the crown of the head nice and high. And then with the help of your hands, just draw your knees back in towards one another. And separate your feet nice and wide once again. Hands come behind you. Just windshield wiper the knees side to side. Taking your time to start off with, ensuring that you don't create any more tension in the body. And then when you're feeling more comfortable, you can start to move a little bit more freely. And then slowly come back onto your mat, coming to all fours. We're going to step our left foot in between the hands. From here, just walk your back knee out a little bit so that you have a nice long stance. And we're going to stay high on our fingertips for just a moment here. Finding space throughout our right hip. Drawing our chest through the arms. And when you're ready, you're going to slowly send your hips back, lengthening over that left leg, and we're going to hold this pose here. So if you want to settle into it first, you can start by windshield wiping the foot side to side. And maybe there's an area of the body that's extra tight when you do this motion. And maybe you want to hold that position as we stretch for this portion of our practice. You'll also want to make sure that your right hip is pushing forward, or sorry, your right hip's pushing forward, left hip is pushing back to help square off the hips. And then slightly lengthen the crown of the head, drawing your belly button towards your upper thigh. Lengthening through the low back as you do so. And then from here you can slowly relax the head and chest and shoulder. Relax the neck, maybe shake it out, shake out the head. And allow yourself to release tension in this part of the body. you want to start deepening into the pose or finding an alternative area of the leg that is a little bit more tight when you windshield wiper side to side. Maybe you want to pause in a different area now, drawing your chest closer towards the mat as you do so, folding deeper over that leg. And we're here for 5 more long, deep breaths. Ready, slowly bend through that left knee once again, sending your chest forward, framing the left foot. And then lightly step that left leg back so you're in your tabletop position. Next up, step your right foot in between the hands, draw your chest through the arms. Holding here, finding space in the body. Shifting side to side. And then once you're ready, send the hips back, lengthening that right leg. Draw your left hip forward, right hip back. And once again, you can start to windshield wiper your right foot now, side to side. And just noticing how this simple motion interacts with the pose and with your body. Noticing how your body reacts, and maybe you want to find a sticky spot that you want to focus on as you rest forward, folding over the leg. Staying present with your breath, with how you're breathing. Maybe start to find an alternative position for the leg as you windshield wiper to find the next area that you'd like to work on. Lengthening through the low back and folding deeply into the leg. about 5 more long, deep breaths here in this pose. Settling in, getting a bit deeper. And then when you're ready, bend through your right knee, framing the right foot once again, finding space in the left hip, and then lightly step your right knee back. And then from here, in your tabletop position, come down onto your belly. And then come onto your forearms, and we're going to set up for our Sphinx pose. So you want your shoulders and elbows to be in alignment. And you're going to intentionally ground down through the hands and send your chest through the arms. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. And allow yourself to find an opening through the chest. Relaxing the hips and glutes, allowing those areas of the body to soften into the mat. As we rest in our Sphinx pose, in this heart-opening pose, we're going to start to invite loving intentions in our heart space. And we're going to start to cultivate sensations of love, peace, reverence, forgiveness, love, gratitude, joy. And as you work on building these emotions in the body, notice how it feels in the body. So as you work with the emotion of forgiveness, how does that feel like in the body? How does that amplify emotions of love in the body? Take about 5 more deep breaths here in this pose. body, slowly bring your hands to frame your chest and press your hands back up and come to rest on your heels. And then from here, we're going to set up for a hero pose. So you're going to separate your knees nice and wide. Well, as wide as hip width apart. Your feet are going to point, your toes are going to point back to the back of your mat. And from here, you're going to bring your forearms down. And maybe this is where you're going to hang out. In this heart-opening space. And this is where you'll relax. Or if you prefer, you can also recline the whole way back and allow your hands to rest on your belly. Your shoulders come all the way down onto the mat. And you allow this entire opening of all the chakras, all the energy centers of the body are nice and open here. And just bring your awareness back into the body. Notice your breath in this pose. Notice any emotions that come up for you in this pose, any bodily sensations or mental impressions. And then allow yourself to find peaceful emotions into the body. Allow yourself to soften into this pose, to let go, to allow whatever it is to come through. And just be there with yourself as you experience this time and this space in your body. Allow yourself to shut down the eyes. To continue to work with your breath, opening and softening the body. Creating space in the areas of the body that are holding additional tension. And then softening those areas with each exhale. Deepening into the expression of this pose with every breath. And we're going to take about 5 more long deep breaths here. Allow yourself to let go and release, to soften down. When you're ready, if you're in the entire reclined position, slowly press yourself back up, pressing into your elbows, coming down into the half reclined position, and then bring one palm down to your mat behind you and then the next. And then you just find your hero pose here for a moment. Sitting back on your heels, hands on your knees, shut down the eyes. Just taking the time to allow your spine to decompress, come back to its neutral shape, come back to your breath, soften the body down. And then when you're ready, you're going to bring your hands forward once again, back into your tabletop position. And we're just going to move through a few cat-cows. So as you inhale, push the belly and chest through the arms. Belly goes down, gaze up. And exhale, round through your spine, look in towards your belly button. Inhale, drop the belly, chest moves through the arms, gaze up. Exhale, round through the spine. Look in towards the belly button. 3 more breaths. Nice and slow movements. Exhale it out. Move with your own breath now. And then slowly come to sit. From here, come all the way down onto your mat. Draw both knees in towards your chest. Give them a nice squeeze. And you're just going to shift side to side, massaging through the low back. And we're going to come into our happy baby pose. So from here, come back to a neutral position with the spine, hips come to center. Your hands are going to grab hold of the outer edge of your foot, so the pinky toe side of your foot. And then you're going to extend your heels up to the sky, feet up to the sky, bending both knees to a 90-degree bend. So you want to make sure that your knees and ankles are in alignment. And then from here, your hands are going to draw your knees in towards the ground or towards your armpits in a sense. And you want to make sure that your heels are always pointing high and that your low back is pressing into the mat. Make sure that your shoulders are pressing down. Shut down the eyes here and allow yourself to tune into the body in this position and just notice how this feels for you. Notice if certain emotions come up, certain thoughts. How does this feel in the body? Where do you feel this in the body? What areas are being released, are called to be released? And shut down the eyes once again. Continue to draw the knees in towards the mat. And once again, scanning your body from head to toe, noticing where you may be holding tension in the body here. And soften the forehead, soften the eyes, soften the jaw, the neck, the shoulders. Soften through the chest, the belly and low back. Soften the ground, the pelvis area, the groin, inner thighs. Allow your knees to get heavy. Soften the ankles, the calves, and the feet. And take about 5 more long, deep breaths here. And after your final breath, you can start to shift your feet side to side, just rocking your baby side to side, getting a massage in the low back. And then when you're ready to get out of this pose, you can draw your feet back together, and then your knees come back together, hug them in towards the chest one last time. And then you have the option to extend out into our final Shavasana pose, or if you prefer, you can come into seated meditation. So whatever your body's calling you to do, you're either going to settle into Shavasana or into your meditative position, whether it's sitting in lotus pose, or if you want to draw the knees together and sit back on the heels, you can do so as well. Allow your hands to draw on either side of the body in your Shavasana pose, separating your feet nice and wide and allowing the feet to fall open. And wherever you're at, whether it's in Shavasana or in meditation, allow yourself to just drop into the body. Allow yourself to ground down and to soften the body. Soften the forehead, soften the eyes, soften the jaw. Allow your shoulders to get heavy. Soften the arms, the elbows, forearms. Relax the wrists and allow your hands to get heavy. Soften the chest, soften the belly and the low back. Soften the glutes. And allow your hips to get nice and heavy, grounding your energy down into the hips. Allow your legs to soften and relax. Soften the knees, the calves, and ankles. Soften the feet and allow your feet to get nice and heavy into the mat. And as you rest here, come back to your natural breath now, resisting any urges to control the breath. And just notice how you're breathing. Notice the quality of your breath now compared to the beginning of class. And allow yourself to draw upon peaceful sensations in the body, allowing yourself to melt, to soften and ground. And to find bliss in this peaceful state of the body, of the mind, of the emotional body. As you continue to soften and deepen your awareness internally, allow yourself to just enjoy any emotions, any sensations that are wrapping you right now. If you're in your Shavasana pose, slowly start to bring movement back into the body, just moving your fingers and toes. Maybe shifting your head slightly side to side. And keeping your eyes shut, move to one side in a fetal position. Drawing your knees in towards your chest and using your arm as a support for the head. And as you rest in this fetal position, allow yourself to invite new intentions for your space, new intentions into your life. And also take the time to let go of anything that no longer serves you in your body, in your life, whether it be thoughts that no longer serve you, or certain emotions, certain experiences or memories from the past, certain fears about the future. And allow those all to just slip away. And creating space in the body, in the mind, in our lives for what truly matters, and drawing more of those intentions into your life. Draw in more intentions of joy and happiness and abundance and bliss, more love into your life. And when you're ready, you can come into a seated meditative position. Still keeping the eyes shut. Together we're all going to stack our hands over top of our hearts and press your palms firmly into your chest so that you can feel your heartbeat into your hands and make that connection there. And as you connect with your heart, find gratitude for all of the abundance and all of the love that it's capable of creating in your life. And thank your heart for its bravery and its expression and its ability to create so much beauty in your life. And take a moment now to find gratitude for all of those blessings that have happened to you in your life. All the experiences of abundance and joy and love and support. And take a moment to acknowledge the abundance that has been your life thus far. And as we have cultivated this abundance and love and gratitude into our heart center, take the time now to send that love outwards to anybody who may need it at this time, and expanding your heart as you do so. And remembering that each time that we share love into the world, we're creating that beautiful butterfly effect around us, magnetizing more love into the world, into our space, collectively elevating each and every one that we come in contact with when we're in our heart center and in this space, whether we realize it or not. We are always connected from our heart center. And slowly draw the hands together in front of the heart, palms together. And just bow your chin in towards your chest. We're going to end our practice now with a beautiful thank you to ourselves for taking care of our health and wellness today. And then joining the knuckles of the thumbs to the forehead, we bow forward to say namaste. Thank you all so much for joining me once again on the mat. And as always, I'm sending you all so much love and light. And I hope to see you again soon. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Bye, guys.